Hello and welcome to D420. Today I'm gonna learn how to get the Blender game engine so you can create games, 3D games, also 2D games in Blender 3D. First of all, you need to get Blender. If you don't have Blender, you can download it at blender.org. Get the latest version here or here. Just download it, pick your version. I have Windows, it's very small, and you download it, install it. I don't need to show how you do that. Later, when you got that installed, you go to the upbge.org. This is the game engine. Blender had the Blender game engine before, but was discontinued and was removed on the later versions of Blender. And this is the new version. But you need to install it separated from the Blender. It's not built in. So you're gonna download it from their website, from here, and well, then you can pick a version. If you pick, like, say, Windows 64, it's the 64 bits version. It will be the versions. The latest stable version is 0.2.5. I think it's a beta version, but my tutorials will be based on the latest alpha version. Is this 0.3 alpha. It's somewhat more unstable, but work fine. You need to save often, so don't forget about saving your project when you're using the .3 alpha version. And you have one for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. The 64-bit Windows, of course, not the 32. Download that. The files will come in some kind of zip file. I'm gonna show you. Download it. You need to move these files in the Blender map, Blender application maps, and some files will be replaced. There are no big files. 243 megabytes. It's not much. Then you files. If you wonder, I have a Swedish version of the Windows. Of course, I didn't buy the WinRAR. Who does that? Release. These files will be on the Blender map, main root map of the Blender files. So this and mark this, extract to, and I have got the Blender foundation here and the program wraps, depending on what language you use on your Windows. And I seems to have 2 versions. I think this is the latest version. I'm gonna check. Yes, 2. Alright, so it's already an even later version of Blender. I have an outdated version. It works fine anyway. So I'm gonna place it there and I'm gonna press OK. I already did this. It's gonna ask you to replace some files. Of course you accept that. Just yes for everything like that. As you can see, the Blender has changed the appearance. Another icon here, the Upbge icon. It's the new version of the Blender engine. It's based on the old Blender engine, and there's some minor difference, but if you used to make games in the old Blender game engine, you will feel like just at home. We can create a simple game here just to show for the newbies how it's done. Even though the Blender has changed, you can still make animated movies, render pictures and stuff. The key difference between your regular original vanilla Blender and this Blender engine slapped into the Blender is that you can also make games inside Blender. First of all, before I even make a game, I can go to if you go to export, you wanna export the game to be playable by other people who don't own Blender. Just save its game runtime, and then you just save it. Texture files and audio files will not be included, so you need manually to copy this stuff over to the old folder. However, we don't made the game yet, so I'm not gonna show that right now. However, if you don't have this, it's because you need to activate that plugin, and you do that by going to this little window. You can change to something else. You're going to add-ons. You're going to official community, and you're gonna search for game. Yeah, and here we go. I already activated that, but in your case it will look like this. You just do that to have the ability to save the game runtime. Alright then, the first we're gonna do is we're gonna do a FPS simple controller. So I'm gonna make a FPS unit, a little box as a player, and you can look around and walk around on the plane. It's the best, the ground mechanics to build an FPS shooter on. So we start to rescale this box here. Gonna S on the keyboard, shortcut S, and then Z. to scale it down. This will look great. I'm gonna remove that camera here because it's easier to create a new camera on the place where I want it, like this. Oh, I'm gonna here, and let's see. Minus 90 degrees, and this arrow will be pointing up, I think. So minus 90 degrees. I think no, 180. So like this. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, place it here, and so I think it's pretty decent. And then I'm gonna create a plane, so I have something to stand on. Then I'm gonna take this, mark this, and hold shift and mark this too. Go to object, make these two objects as parent, like this. So if I just click on the camera, I can move it around, but it's connected to this cube, so it will follow it. Like the cube is a parent and the camera is the child object. So far so good. And let's see, make the plane bigger. Press P. Press the P button to run it, and right now it's not much to see, but it's running in real time now. I can't move or anything because we don't have any game mechanics yet. Just to make something easier, I'm gonna go, I click it on this ground, and I'm gonna go to the materials, create a new material. I can call this ground mat, and change the color to green. Also change this to, let's see here, this is some just wireframes, shading, colors, and this is like show how much light and everything. Gonna change this light object to sun. Oh, it's bright. Gonna turn it, crank it down some more, maybe to 10. Yeah. So then gonna try again. Oh, see, much clearer, which is the sky, whatever, and the ground. All right, this will do. We can also what happened if you're trying to make the sky more blue. Will it look the same in game? Yes, so even nicer. Great. And now it's time to make some game mechanic. So I'm gonna right click here, split this window Yes. So I'm gonna change it to logic editor. You can script in Python, but we're going to the logic, game logic here. This is like visual scripting. It's like, if you know Unity, they have Playmaker to buy, so you don't need to script in C#. And if you know the Logibricks in Unreal Engine have something similar. This is much more primitive version. So I'm gonna first, this is the sensor. It's like you do something or something happens, which will result in some actions out here. So first of all, press W, and it will set the cube in motion. So I'm gonna drag this or this, and it will create a end block here. Alright. No, fuck. Screw it up. What? Okay. We don't want to have this on the light setting, so I'm gonna erase this. Gonna press on the cube. Yeah. We're gonna redo this again. W motion. We can add an end here. Do this, or just drag this, and it will generate this section here. Okay. I'm gonna press on the move so we can see the axis here. Z axis, X, E, it's calling Y, I think. Yeah, and as you see the camera here, so this is the front, the X and the arrow at this direction is positive X, so we're gonna do 002. Yeah, and then we're gonna check if this is fast or not. Press the W, it moves. Yeah, alright. Create another 4 actions. S button, A and D. You know what I'm gonna do with the A and D, yeah. I'm gonna make strafe functions at 002. 0.2. This gonna go back downward. This positive y-axis like this. Oh, motion there will be negative 0.2. Okay, now I'm gonna try it out. Go back, go forward, back, left and right. And if I press 2 of them, I'm gonna be moving a little bit faster. It's a problem we maybe solve another time. However, we wanna look with the mouse. So adding mouse here. Change it to movement. If I move the mouse, and the mouse over here will be at look. And gonna try this. Let's see. Yeah, so you can move around with the mouse like this. Gonna try FPS mode. You can run with the mouse. I can strafe. Yeah. I can still not see looking up and down, so I'm gonna press on the camera here. I don't want to move all this cube to look up and down on the camera. So go to mouse again, and the same thing again here. Can I use this movement and look? I'm gonna try this. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Great. So it used the y-axis and the x-axis on the cube. So you have the simple mechanic. I don't think this ground is don't show the feeling of movement. It's too plain. You can change this, but adding objects and stuff. But we're gonna use the UIDT. And make a new image. Change it to UV grind. Okay, like this. We're gonna go to the ground here. Here we have the base color. If you press this yellow dot here, you can change this from boring color to an image texture. Then we're going down here, pick the untitled. Later on we can add grass or stone or some brick textures, but this will do. So, don't look very pretty, but when we walk around we can easily see what speed we have when we're moving. Very nice. I also want to change the camera's view settings here. It's 50mm. I think 35 will do even better. I think it's already better. We can still not jump, so I'm gonna add these two. Going to the cube. First we're going to the ground, adding a game property. Call it ground. And then we're going to the cube, which here is our player object. Go to keyboard. Use the spacebar knapp as a jumping button. Going to motion. Add this and the C-axle positive. Going for 2 maybe. And if you try it, fly away. Yes. I'm gonna show another thing we must fix before we go further with the jumping function. If I go outside here, I will float. If I press, I will just fly up. I will not fall. So the play object is not. Don't have any gravity yet. So as the cube is marked, selected, I mean. As I selected the cube, I go into the physics property, and the problem we have it's a static object and it should be a shared object. You can activate the actor so it can be detected by any radar sensor in the future when we add enemies, and so enemies object can hunt or player object. These need to be selected. We're also gonna have collision bounds. I'm gonna change it to a capsule, so we don't have. It's better. Capsule object. You can have a box or cylinder, but in order to climb ladders now, no ladders, stairs and such, it's better to have capsule. It's round around the edges, smooth around the edges. Alright then, I'm gonna try again. Jump, only 4 backs. But as you can see, we can still fly. And unless we're not making a Superman video game, like the Superman 64 or something like that, this is not acceptable. So, can add another condition here. It's a collision as far as this object is have contact with the ground, property ground here. This is the same property as this property I added before. I'm gonna do a wire here, so as long as I am on the ground and pressing spacebar, I jump. So try again, I jump, and I don't fly anymore. It's great. It's bunny jumping when I have the space button. Press it down, it will jump like this. If you don't like that, you can press the tap here. So you can only tap it once. So I have it pressed down, but it don't jump all the time. I need to, like you can hear here, you can press the button here to make it jump. One tap, one jump. So, and